Are you tired of the old ways of trying to recruit friends and family to your MLM? Tactics just don't work anymore. Have you wanted to quit and say the heck with this, but something still gives you that burning desire to rock this business? All you needed was the way. This is Network Freaking Marketing Radio.
Today on Network Freaking Marketing Radio, we're bringing out Miss Judy Mark from the Canadian side of the border. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Well, you know, we've been trying to venture out and bring people from multiple different companies, different ideas, people that have been in the business a while, people just getting started, because we find a commonality that everybody learns something from someone. And so bring us up to speed, Judy. How long have you been in network marketing?
You know, I started this when I was 19 years old, and I always like to say I've been in probably 6 different companies, and I've tried them all. I like to joke a little bit, which is mostly 100% true. I made all of $50 in Beachbody, and I did not think I was ever going to be successful at this. I saw the dream. I was excited about the dream. I didn't have the chance to go to college, have a career, and when I saw this opportunity and realized, wait a minute, this is something I can do, because if it requires hard work, I'll outwork anybody, is what I always say. So I tried it and I thought I can't do it, you know, and here I am absolutely loving it and finally seeing some success. So
how long have you been in the company? How long have you been in the industry as a whole?
It would be, well, to start was in 19, that would be like 11 years.
Okay, so you got some tenure, for sure.
Yeah, but, you know, I just never think of it like that, because it wasn't 10 years of success. It was 10 years of absolute failure. And so now I have that mindset of I don't lose, I learn. And now I'm in that new space of the next 10 years will be, I've been in this industry 10 years of success now is the plan. So
do you ever think the first 8 years or 9 years when you was like cutting your teeth? Because anyone that hits a pinnacle level in success in this industry has to serve their time somewhere. So many people forget, and it happens in every company out there. You get someone that comes on board new, they skyrocket to a high rank, and you're like,
how did they do it?
What the fuck? What did they do? How did they get there?
Right.
But everybody seems to forget. And a lot of people that you guys that are just in the industry, those people served their times, built their campfire, and built their team.
Campfire. It's my new favorite word. I'm saying that too. It's like, you've got to build that campfire. And, you know, it is all about the mindset you're creating and your personal development. It really is. It's not, because that's where my growth happened. Not, I met somebody that's successful and they joined my. Nobody's going to join your business if you're not working on you, right?
Network marketing is the greatest self-development program without having to spend $100,000.
Right, and you know what? It's where did I hear it? Eric Worre says it best, I believe. He says, network marketing is a business school with a paycheck.
That's so true.
Right? Because you get to learn business, you get to learn leadership, you get to learn all of these things that normally you would have to pay a lot of money to get the mentors that you can get in network marketing. If you're in the right company and you have support, you can get high-level coaching for free. And I think people don't see the value of that enough. And they're like, oh, if you're paying $5,000 a month for a coach, that's valuable. And it is, but some of those people are giving more value for free in network marketing.
I think as a whole, you know, at least we're finding more over delivery. You know, the leaders are, if anybody's listening right now, and, you know, those that you're watching, if you over deliver to your customer, to your prospect, and really show them that this is a real business and not take it like, hey, we're going to build a list, talk to your mom and dad, forget all that. That doesn't work. I mean, and maybe in the beginning you can, you know, get the sob story or get your friend suckered in or something like that. But when you're really trying to go through the needles and find those leaders, it's all about building, like, over delivering. And you're seeing that a lot from the coaches out there. I mean, Higdon's doing it, Worre with his new challenge. I mean, the amount of free even Cardone, all these guys are giving away
so much.
massive amounts of coaching, and it's crazy. Now, who do you follow? Who's your guru?
I love Eric Worre in the network marketing space because I feel like it's Fraser Brooks too. And, these are guys who have had to start at the beginning and not have that advantage that I think a lot of people that we look up to in network marketing go, well, she knew everybody, or well, he was a doctor, or well, of course he got a lot of people, or well, because network marketing is a place where people can start on a mindset, and a lot of mindset is, well, I can't do this. I can't talk to people. I can't sell anything. I don't know how to make money online. It comes from because it's a low in, you buy in at such a low, where else can you go and spend $1,000 or less and in an industry of any kind and get potentially a business that can make you, 6 to 10 figures? Where else are you going to find that? Right. And so I think our mindset is important. And so these guys have proven and shown through their experience that if they can do it, and as Fraser Brooks, when his dad said, go make those 20, 40, whatever the number was, calls, and he got to the last person and they said no, and he was so mad he was going to give up. And it's like, we've all been there, and it was at that moment to choose whether we keep going or whether we say this industry sucks and doesn't work for us. So I love to follow people who have the story, who've been there without the advantage, because some of us didn't have that advantage. I mean, I'm working with a product that's anti-aging, not something that I can just say I can sell right off the bat, right? So you have to take excuses, and you have to stop looking at people and go, well, it's because she this or he that. That's an excuse that you're putting on yourself.
So many, we teach a lot that the industry is the lowest risk, lowest cost, easiest way to build a real business if you put in the work. But so many people, how many people do you, it's so frustrating to me, because you get people that are fired up. They'll get in, they'll swipe the credit card for, most MLMs you can get into from $50 up to about $1,500, the norm, that we say. And they get in, they're all fired up, and then they do nothing. If they had $20,000 on the line, I guarantee it'd be a little different.
Exactly. And, that's what I say to people is don't treat it like a job. Treat it like a business. And if you've never had a business before, study it. Doctors don't go to the ER and say, well, I want to be a doctor, so I'm here to be a doctor. No, you got to go study. You got to go learn. And that's why Eric Worre is another one of my favorites, because he does give that almost like network marketing school experience where you can really learn step by step how to do it correctly, because our industry has been run through the mud by people who were like, well, let's do this, and have no experience. I mean, it's great, go for it, but learn it. It's a business. It's a art. You've got to know it. I mean, this is great. We're in an industry that pays out $200 million a day to people all over the world. It's a great opportunity. I think it's getting more of an opportunity.
Right now, it's probably there's been more growth in 2020 than ever before. What do you think is the single most developed? Well, how do I want to say this? What do you think is the most important skill to have? Because I'll tell you mine after you're done. What do you think? Connection.
Connecting and building relationships.
Okay. Let's elaborate it. What do you mean connecting? Because there's a lot of people out there that don't have an inner circle. They don't have friends. They're building cold.
Exactly. And 100%. And, that's how I built the first 90% of my business so far, right up to this point, was cold market, because you've got to be vulnerable. This is all part of connection. So you've got to learn to be vulnerable. You've got to learn to share the parts of yourself that you really want to hide away, which brings you to say, how can I improve myself so that I can show the vulnerability, but also show the growth I've gone through this vulnerability. Yep. And because people connect with real, I have had people join my business purely because they say, I want to be with someone in your world. I want someone like you in my world. Now, if you're negative Nancy posting all the negative shit on your Facebook, I will see that and I'm looking for a business. I don't want a team. I don't want an upline like that. So if you have shit going on in your life, you really,
Oh yeah,
where
we're this is, we want to be as real as we really are and everything.
yeah.
You hear me drop an F-bomb from here or there. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Where,
You know,
where can I,
you said
passionate.
something. I'm gonna back you up for a second. You said learning and releasing, inner stuff and talking about what you may not normally talk, but that brings up to something interesting because I've always been, for the last year, I've gotten into more personal stuff and really releasing a lot of stuff about me and how I grew and stuff. But what I noticed is a lot of people have like mindset blocks. And
Mm-hmm.
when you go through the process of high level coaching or, I was on Play to Win, Ray Higdon's reality TV show this year. And
Nice.
we went through a week of crazy coaching. I mean, break you down. I mean, it was nuts. But
Yeah.
you learn through that if you talk through the because everybody's got trash that happened as a childhood, whatever. We all go through shit. Get over it, kind
Exactly.
of move on. But when you kind of take a second and work through that, it's amazing the doors that will open up.
Yes. Yes. And when you can, and that's part of adding value. And I say a lot to my team too, is add value on your page through connection and by sharing your story. And be careful when you're sharing your story. And someone shared this with me, is share your story like you're sharing a cake with guests at your house. Now you make the cake, you mix it up. This is part of your experience, of experiencing living in that story, having it happen to you. Perhaps you're in an abusive relationship, or in my case, a religious background. This is part of your story, but you're in it, you're mixing it. It's all dough yet, it's raw, it's so raw yet. And then you put it in a pan, you stick it in the oven. Now wait till the cake is done to feed it to your guests, because you feed a raw cake, nobody's going to eat it, nobody's going to digest it, and it's going to be raw and hurt for everybody, including yourself. And you're going to go, I'm never serving cake ever again because my guests left unhappy. Now, share your story with the same thought. Is when you're writing it down, ask yourself, is this still currently existing in my life? Is this still painful and raw for me? And to be raw is good, but ask yourself, have I healed enough from this to share this story to add value? Or are people going to be in my inbox saying you should get help? So where do you fall in the bracket of sharing your story? So I like to go, there's current things in my life now I don't share because it's a cake that's still baking. Now I have a cake that's been baked and I have healed from that and I can share it now. And that's where you want to gauge your vulnerability sharing levels of, because someone else is going through what you went through 10 years ago that you've healed from, and you can share that story. Give them hope that you've been there too, and they can also change their life, because network marketing, yeah, sure, it's a business, but it's also a chance for someone to find themselves, to grow, to find an industry that supports personal growth and that 1% getting better every day, right?
It's totally. Have you read the book The Power of the Subconscious Mind yet? I'm working on that one right now. Have you been into
I
that
have
one?
not heard about
It's
that one.
Joseph Murphy, and my buddy Kyle Devine actually referred it to me the other day. And I got to tell you, it talks about, like, if you have a block in your mind of something that's like saying, like, let's use going on stage for, say, you're getting ready to go talk to someone. We all get the butterflies a little bit if you're going to stand up in front of 4 or 5, 10,000 people. But if you say to yourself, I'm in control, and you talk to your own subconscious, it's kind of weird. But the premise of the beginning of that, because I just started it yesterday, I got about 2 hours into it. But man, it talks about what we're talking about right now, but takes it to another level that is crazy. So you've got 10 years in the business. How big's your team right now?
Right now, like in like with people, numbers, right now, so I've been in this company that I'm currently in now 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I joined 2 years ago with a product not being even in my country yet. I saw the opportunity. I went, I can be the first person to bring this to my country, thinking it would be 30 days or so. 18 months later, we finally launched my country. So 90% of my team is in the US. So I've not even met most of my team. So now I have about 50 personal distributors, and then I have like about like overall in my underneath me it's about 300. So
You're in the top 2% of the industry right there. I mean, a lot of people don't realize if you bring 2 people in, you're in the 5 percentile of the business. Just 2.
wow,
I mean,
see that
it's crazy. You know, those kind of numbers, and it only takes 1 or 2 people that hit in your network and it's all over. I mean, it's like lights out, it's a TKO, you're ready to rock and roll.
yes.
Canada's a little bit stricter up there. You guys, to get health and wellness products in, it is, you have to jump through many hula hoops, to say the least. It's a different animal. Yeah, so you've been so with you based up there and us down here, so you've been building primarily online, correct?
Almost 100%.
What is your main platform?
Facebook and LinkedIn. I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to work Instagram, and here's some raw truth for you. Unless you take your clothes off, fuck it. So it's really, find your niche, find your platform, but hang on to your professionalism, because that's going to attract the builders you really want.
I think LinkedIn is the most untapped resource right now. Literally, if you know the tactics, and really, we're going to do some teaching with soon coming on how to utilize the platform. We've cracked the code there. We brought in some really good. Scott Aaron is a good friend of mine. He did some coaching with me, and he's got a formula that 1 message out, you can book 6 calls. It is incredible how smooth it is. But you get a lot of people. You get a different animal on LinkedIn. The one thing I noticed about LinkedIn, a lot of people are looking for something back. It's not like in Facebook, to where you could cold message them, and they're gonna, okay, I got it. In LinkedIn, you have to give them some value back of something.
You got to show up differently than everybody else.
Yeah. When you're prospecting on LinkedIn, are you hitting them straight up? Are you trying to friend them? What is your methodology on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, I am still working on cracking the code. So you and I will talk about cracking this code. But I believe in analysis paralysis. Too many times we sit and go, what's the perfect script? I'm going to work on this perfect script. And it just starts sending, just start talking, just start doing, and find what works. You'll get it. But I would say currently, right now, my strategy is to connect with people who, first of all, interests that might interest you. But number 1, what type of career are people on LinkedIn that will resonate with your product or your service or whatever? And then find cities, find towns, find states, find provinces, find countries that you do, and then build the connection. It is start from scratch type of stuff. Unless you've been on LinkedIn for years and you have business connections, that's different. But I'm talking about, I'm in the industry, never been successful, have never actually done it correctly. I don't know anyone. I built my LinkedIn from 50 people to, I think we're at 4,000 now. And so I just connect. And I feel like the more personal you can get and the further away from scripts you can get, the better chance you're going to have. Although I'm still looking for that 1 message that I can, because getting on the phone is what it's about. So if you're afraid to get on the phone, you will have to work through that fear, because you cannot build this. I mean, if I could put a hoodie on and crawl under a blanket and get to be a millionaire in this industry, I'd love that. But that's not the way it works. No. You do have to put yourself out there. So you have to take care of your introverted side and really nurture that extroverted side of yourself, or build it. You got to build that. So voice messages work really well, because it's connecting. It's a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. But finding that 1 message that books you those 6 calls is what you want. That's the goal.
The beauty about LinkedIn is if you create really good content, a lot of people don't utilize the insights. And it's actually, I think it is insights. It's what is on there. If you run a campaign, let's say on your content that you're making, you can go in and see who's looking at that, what company they're from, and what part of the country they're in. And a lot of people, you okay? A lot of people don't realize that those 3 insights, that's your customer. That's your avatar, as Scott Aaron says. That's who you ping into and now go after. And, and it's the real thing. I think the biggest for me is taking it offline as fast as possible. Within 2 conversations back and forth, I'm saying, hey, let's book a call, send them my Calendly, get it in 15 minutes. Let's hear your story. Here's my story. Here's my aha moment. And was my plan B. That's us in a nutshell on LinkedIn. But with,
I love.
complete steps and stuff like that. But then we take them through, then we'll send them an email that's got, our third party, of course, whatever, video, whatever. And then we put them on a group call with me and one other teammate. We'll team up and just say, hey, is the right fit.
That's the duplicatable system. And
Totally.
yeah, and I love that because so much of us are afraid to get on the phone. And this is my biggest challenge. Get on the phone. I don't like the phone. But you know what? I can't even say that truthfully anymore because I am beginning to love it because it is that level of connection. And I think the biggest fear is, I'm going to have to get on the phone and talk about my business. I'm going to have to sell them. I'm going to have to share what I'm doing. I have to share the business, the product. And most people, when they're just getting in, still quite don't know the language, the verbiage. And it's like, I say, get on and just ask them, talk to them. And when they say, what is it that you do? And you don't quite know. So I'm just new in this, but I can send you some information about what I do and use the tools that you're given, right? And
don't fake it till you make it. Be honest, be real. But one thing, with the phones is, I used to always tell people on my team is like, every time you make a call, put a mark on a piece of paper. And then in 6 months' time, I want you to count how many marks you are and divide it by the amount of money you've made. The average is usually around $2 to $5 a call, if not a lot more than that.
That's that. I love that.
So many people don't think about that. It's like, well, I'm not making anything right now. Okay, so think about what you do for your day job. You get in your car, you drive to where you got to go. No matter what you do, you're doing something, and risk versus reward. This is a lot easier. It's not it's not perfect, but it's something better or something like that, he says. Because we had Fraser on.
Derek Gore, you'd say, we have a better way.
Yeah. We had Fraser Brooks was on here with me right when he was in Dubai. He was stuck there actually with COVID and stuff like that.
No way. I love that. Yeah.
So let's talk about content. You do a lot of online stuff, and a lot of people struggle. This is where I see the duplication factor breaks down a lot with people that are not familiar with trying to create something every day. A lot of people don't understand how to repurpose things. They don't know that, we can shoot it like we're shooting a podcast here. This podcast is going to go to our live Facebook live stream. We're going to cut the audio and put it on Apple iTunes and all the syndicated channels. We're going to shoot it to YouTube. We can make little excerpts. We could take a cut of it and make it a book if we wanted. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do once you start creating it. What do you do for content?
So when I teach my team, I was doing cold market coaching for a while. And then I got so busy with the team and just loving building this that I went, well, you know what, why not just teach my team the cold market system? And that has been working for me. And so content was a big thing because cold market is all about adding value online, adding value on the phone, on Zoom. You have to learn to build that connection without being face-to-face with someone. And the best way to do that is through your content, your values. So I would say get up in the morning and ask yourself, 3 times today, how can I add value to my people? So that will teach your brain to start looking for things. Like I'm driving down the road and I'm like, I hear a song and it speaks to me. And I'm like, I take some of the lyrics and I pair it with a picture and I put it on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, or I'm reading this is why personal development in the morning is so important, because if you're listening to a motivational video or reading a book, ask yourself before you start that, how can I take what I've learned this morning in my half an hour, 10 minutes, whatever you have for your personal development in the morning, how can I take from that one nugget to post online for my audience? Because yes, you're not the expert. You probably read it in a book or you heard it on a video, but what's happening is you're beginning to show up as an expert on your page. And what happens is then you have to show up because people are relying on you. People start to follow you. People start to wait for your posts. And another huge thing for content is your story system. Now, I call your story system, whether that's Facebook, LinkedIn, or because now LinkedIn has it, which I'm excited about because I've been utilizing that for a while. But those 3 platforms now have story systems. So you can post to your stories. And that is basically your organic sales funnel for them to get to know you and what you do without being salesy. Mm-hmm. And so those are like, add value 3 times every day, whether that's about yourself a little bit so people get to know you, ask a lot of questions, and because people love to give their opinion, and you've got to let them, and just stay back and let people speak and add value, tons of value.
Invest, learn, teach is the way Reg Higdon says. The other one is teach and reteach that a lot of the other guys coach on. You know, it's about getting out there, learning something. And the fastest way to, you know, they say the fastest way to learn something is learn it and then immediately teach it. And it like
Yes.
locks it in the brain, and you're like, then you have it. It's ready to rock and roll. It's amazing how many people are just afraid to put stuff out there, you know. And the one thing that I'm sure you'll 100%, don't ever reveal your company. Always,
Right.
you know, you can put a blurb in there about what I'm doing this, but keep the mystery going, because you know the worst thing you want to do is let them jump on Google and
No, because you know
then
what?
they're blown.
Exactly. Here's the truth. Google is not friendly to network marketing. Google will show you the top rated sites, which are the negative, is this company a spam? Will be the 100% first thing you see with any company you Google, because that's what someone's pushed to the top, because we're all so busy enjoying our industry, loving the money we're making, helping the people we're helping. We're not really all about putting articles all over the internet to show how good our company is. Whereas the negative side of it, people want to put the worst out there because that's what they're doing. And so don't Google the company. Find someone who's got good results, either physically or financially, whatever it is that you're looking to be in it for, and hear the stories, because that is where it's about, is the stories. And so whether you're on the side of, should I get into network marketing? Listen to the stories, not Google. If you're on the side of sharing your business with someone from the inside, share stories. Stories sell, whether that's your own. And half the time I'm sharing other stories, not my own, because that's my industry. So get familiar with the stories in your company. It locks.
It's just because it's someone else, you know, it happened maybe cross line or platform, that's still a success point that happened in your organization. And the other funny thing is, you know, I tell a lot of people, like, if you're going to go out and Google a lot of stuff, make sure you read the whole article and look at the bottom and then research your author. 99.9% of the time, it's someone in an MLM from another company, and they're using it as the backline marketing system. And there's power to it. I don't really believe in it, but you can do that to attract. You can. You'll get ranks. You know, you will get ranks from that.
Well, but you know, about your why and why you're in this industry, and be authentic, and it'll last. I'm not just looking for quick money and join a quick money situation. I'm looking for what supports my long-term mission, my generational. I want this to be generationally impacting in my life. I want, when I'm not here, I want my legacy and the money that's been created to help the generations that I'm impacting, whether that's my own or the families I work with every day. So really understand. I mean, if you're in it just for the money and get rich quick and go for it, go for it.
Yep. Now, do you have kids?
I do.
You know, what's amazing is we have 3 little boys. Mine are 10, 7, and 5. And I love them when we go to, like, we're really lucky to have an amazing team locally here in South Florida that we do. Even a couple weeks ago, we had about 35, 40 people at a big barbecue, and seeing my kids take on the entrepreneurial side and seeing, you know, I own a company that all they know is me owning companies, but now they're seeing a different side of what team building is. And most companies are very kid friendly. You know, if it's not, look at your team a little bit and say, like, hey, we all have kids here. Come on, let's get real. You know, I get it if there's an opportunity meeting or something like that, but when there's open forum, it's amazing what that could emulate down. How old are your kids?
He is 8.
Okay.
And I absolutely love the mindset that it creates, because he's seeing his mom and his dad entrepreneurial lifestyles. And it's so funny because when he was younger, I would have my times, because now we're not together all this time, right? Because I'm in another province, and so I have to travel to see him, and I'm actually here for a week with him to see him. And so it's been very amazing. I absolutely so excited to be with him. And it's a big why for me. It's a big push for me because I want to have that freedom to give him what he wants. And one part of it, I remember saying there was something he needed. And I remember going, how much do I have? Can I get this? And I went, I never rephrase that. I want to always be able to say no to him for another reason than money. And that was a big turning point for me. And so he gets to watch this entrepreneurial lifestyle. And then I'll when he was younger, he would see me and I'd say, okay, Christian, here's your snack. Here's your show. Here's your coloring books. Mommy has a call to make because I'm making money for Disneyland. That was how he would, he's 3 or 4. Yeah. That was his interest. And so now he's the kid with, he has a desk. I've given him an old laptop that doesn't work, but he's got that set up. And he's the kid he would say to me, Mommy, I need you to be quiet now. I'm making calls. I'm making money. And it was like, he makes videos. He loves making videos. And he'll be like, hey guys, we're going to show you the snow now. And he is understanding the entrepreneurial lifestyle, and he's already confident to make videos. And most of us in our, 30s and 50s are like, no, and so
it's true. It's like,
I love watching it. And he's like, my YouTube channel, Mommy, people are watching. They need to know this. They want to see this or whatever. And it's like even if you join network marketing purely to have your kids understand there's more than employee lifestyle.
Yeah.
Please do for your kids.
It's true. It's amazing because I think we miss that a lot in a lot of the trainings and stuff. The family value of teaching, of going after a goal and accomplishing it. I try to use it to where when we first started, we would say, hey, you guys, 3 boys in the house. 1 is easy. Try 3. It's like the romper room in my house. I mean, you have no idea. Like the other day, they put on their dollar bill underwear, and we're literally like jumping off the bed trying to like Stone Cold Steve Austin each other. And I'm hearing there's a big dent in the wall from the chair or something. I mean, literally, it was like that. So my house is nuts. And and my wife is like, oh my God. She just like deer in the headlights. It's kind of funny. Exactly. But the industry is growing. Have you, since COVID, how did you guys pivot with that? Did you do pretty good? Are you still rocking and rolling?
Yes. I mean, the industry. So one of the other streams of income I'm into, we were discussing this because the numbers are 5,000 people a day are joining network marketing.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. And it's like, and just in the US, I don't even know what the worldwide one is, but this is a legit industry. This isn't your, not to say company names, but how they used to be back in the day where it was, stay-at-home moms doing parties. Mm-hmm. This has really gotten bigger. And I don't think so many in it, and we're embarrassed. People say, well, is it an MLM? And you get the whole runaround. No. It's
I have my new line for that. No, it's one of those pyramid things. And I say it point blank to them. And you know what? It takes the stigma right out. No, I'm in one of those pyramid things. And I just wait for them to crack. And it's try it sometime. It's so easy. No, I'm in one of those pyramid things. And it's like, it just debunks it. It just takes the elephant out of the room instantly. Okay, right. Now let's talk.
And you know what? Watch Eric Worre's YouTube video called Rise of the Entrepreneur.
Yes, very good.
Once you've seen that, trust me, you are going to have a different feeling about your industry. You cannot sell your product if you're embarrassed.
No, you can't. It. And what everybody's got to understand, this industry is about compounding. And it's about leveraging everyone's ability to move a little bit of product through a supply chain. And it's not like traditional business, because I'm a traditional business owner as well. And I sell my product once. We'll get a reorder in 2 weeks. But I don't have all those little minions or, extra helping all out there. I'm not saying anybody's a minion if you just heard what I said. But, I'm just saying.
Oh, the minion.
Yeah, you know it is. So
yes.
It's awesome. You're growing. We've watched your content for quite a while. And, how do people get in touch with you?
Good question. I mean, I'm on Facebook.
So it's Judy Mark on Facebook, right?
Yes. and I do like on Instagram, it's the Barefoot Coach.
Why is it the Barefoot Coach? Let's. I wanted to ask that question, so you just opened it up.
Yeah, a very good question. You know, I got into coaching. I thought it was about 7 years ago. I got started coaching because I really wanted to help people because of my story and how I had struggled going from, you know, being a Mennonite girl with no, you know, no voice and no options.
So we're gonna have to back up here. This is a whole point. I could have done the whole show on. So we're gonna go a few extra minutes here. So that's fine. We're gonna talk about this. Finish what you're saying. This is good.
Which story you want to hear?
Well, no, finish what you were talking about, then I'll go into my question after that.
Which they're like, tell me your story. I said, which one? But going from where I came from and my background, and I'm very grateful for it because it has taught me so much about life and building and becoming somebody, because I was given an option, and that was to, you know, get married and have kids. And I wanted more than that. And then of course, you know, here I am having had done that anyway, and I love it. So it was interesting because how did I put it the other day on another platform? I was a Mennonite girl without options, and I left that to create them. And network marketing is huge because it helps some of us who did not have options, and women or men who don't have options. They're in a relationship, perhaps it's abusive. They're maybe in a religion that doesn't give them options. Network marketing gives you options.
Oh, for sure. That tremendous options. So
right, and I started with coaching, and I oh my gosh, I miserably learned a lot in that too, because I tried fitness coaching. Well,
okay.
I didn't know a thing about fitness except that I was on that journey, right, to lose weight and feel good about myself. And I had so much anxiety about it, and I couldn't go to a gym. And so I was like, how am I coaching anybody? And then I'm like, well, the name Barefoot Coach came from, I was trying to find a name, and it was like, well, what are you, right? Who are you? And I'm like, of course, still in the phase of, I have no idea who I am. So it was very difficult. And then I went, you know, I'm always barefoot, and now I'm barefoot even in the wintertime in Canada. I'm always barefoot. And then I was like, the Barefoot Coach even, and
Perfect.
because I was a lot of mindset, a lot of grounding, a lot of like chakras. I have my Reiki levels. Like, so I was very connected to that type of background or just learning, because I was in that phase of learning from having left the church and going, I have the world as my oyster. What do I want to do? And I had no idea. So I just kind of went all over the place for a while. And so the Barefoot Coach, and I'm like, it really honestly represents freedom. It represents,
no, I get it for sure.
Like creating that freedom, no boundaries, nothing holding you back, connecting to the world, just connection and freedom. And so that kind of stuck. I mean, I don't go by Barefoot Coach so much, but it's stuck. It's really stuck.
You know, but you're still coaching in the industry. I want to back up. So you came from I didn't realize this. So you came from a Mennonite family, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So are your parents still in the religion? And
they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
So
and
Mennonite, is Mennonite big up in Canada? I knew. Is it got a large presence up there? I was totally unaware.
Yeah.
So you guys have what's the right word? Kind of very restrict. You have a lot of restriction in regards to. There's
probably like 100 different types, or hundreds, I should say, hundreds of different types. Like people ask, well, what even is that? And I said, the best way for you to understand what it would compare to is the Amish, except most Mennonites do have cars, and but the Mennonites, it's funny because the Mennonites I was born into would not allow you to be barefoot as a woman. It was not allowed. And so I was in that restriction growing up a little bit. And then when we left that one and joined a different one, and the one I joined was a little more lenient, but no pictures were allowed, no music was allowed. Specific cars, when you bought a vehicle, you had to take the radio out of it. Wow. Things like that. And your dress, I had to sew all my own clothes.
Are you able to marry your own, like a boy that you meet, or does it have to be by your family, or I don't know?
some of them allow dating.
Okay.
So the one I was in, what the situation would be is if he liked her, then he would go to his minister, and his minister would go to her minister, and then her minister would go to her mom and dad, and from there it would get to her. Basically say, I would like to marry this girl. If she says yes, then the wedding's on. In 2 or 3 months, they're married.
Wow.
Never having, I mean, most of them do have time where they meet. This is why weddings is such a big deal for them, because that's where they meet people. So it's very crazy. I mean, it's such world to what I mean now, and I don't talk about it because it's like I've jumped timelines so many times that it's like.
Because you're back about 60 years. I mean, their lifestyle, is.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about it, not much, but it's amazing. Now, do you have a good relationship with your family?
I do now. Like I went through a period of, I mean, it's a long story, but I did go through a period of 2 years where I didn't talk to any of them. And so that's why I tell people when they see me post stuff with my family, or when I do a post with my dad calling me, there's a lot of layers to that. And
Sure.
it's right. And, or you see posts of me with my sister. I basically raised my little sister. I mean, we're 11 years apart, and I didn't get to see her, or at 9 years old,
wow.
I watched her fall apart when I left, to the words of Judy's leaving because she doesn't love you anymore. And that I had to see that, and there was nothing I could do about it. And it was like a mother having to leave their kid behind and could do nothing about it. And so I had to leave, knowing that was a consequence of my decision of leaving the church. Because
why did you leave the church?
I thought I was happy, was all I knew. But then I got to that point where, wait a minute, this is not the unconditional love I thought it was. When I asked for help, it was always well, are you wearing your head covering? Are you reading your Bible? Are you praying? It was never about me. It was about what I was doing and the conditions.
How old were you?
And so I said, look, guys, I need a little space to figure myself out, because I don't know I'm coming back to the church. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's right. I was in a space of like, it was at that time in my life where I just wanted to give up and wished I wasn't so much suicidal, but I was just wishing I'd never wake up again.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked for that space to figure myself out, I wasn't given that. They would come knocking on my doors at night, in the daytime, because I was working 3 night shift jobs and then waitressing on the weekends. My life was falling apart.
How old were you at that time, you point in your life?
I was 21. I was 20. I taught school for them in 1 year. I taught grades 7, 8, and 9. I loved it. It taught me a lot of leadership. And then it was after that I went, this isn't quite what I thought it was. This isn't making sense. I'm not truly happy. I need to just figure myself out, and then I'll come back to the church, get married, and life will be good. Did you marry
in the church eventually, or? No.
Okay. So then I asked for that space, and then that was when they would come knocking on my doors in the daytime. I'm like, I asked you guys to come support me, and I was training horses at the time, and I'm like, I wanted some of them to come and hang out, and so all of a sudden, where I live when I'm not coming to church. All of a sudden, where I work. When I asked for support because I was struggling, I was going through a lot of hard stuff with my family, and there was no support there until all of a sudden there was, why isn't she coming to church? Now we got to hunt her down. And I went, look, I got to go on a little bit of a journey. So it was me, my dog, and $20, I say, and I drove 1,000 miles to live with a family. I became the manager of their 2,000, or like feed manager for their 2,000 head cattle ranch, because I'd grown up on a ranch, so it was kind of what I knew. So I managed that for 4 months while I tried to figure myself out, and I thought I had myself figured out. So I came back, built a whole life, and realized I had not figured myself out. And so here we are. It's been a whirlwind. I say every year of my life in the last 10 years has been like 10 years each year.
Wow.
And the growth it's painful, but it's gotten to the point now finally where it's like, wow, I see the light of this tunnel. And I say, if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, light that bitch up yourself.
So I'm just curious, what religion do you practice now? Are you?
I say, and people say, are you religious? I say, no, I am spiritual. I really have taken it to another level of understanding the inside. And
You're gonna love that book then I just talked about, because it's
yeah,
you got to take a look at that. Get the audio version; it's easy to swallow.
Yeah, and then with everything going on in the world now, it's like understanding that this is all within. Everything is within, and not to impress. It's not somebody else telling you what to do, whether that's in religion or relationships or anything going on. It's so much about what's inside of you, what's your truth, and there's always three truths: your truth, my truth, and the real truth. So it is only your job ever to only ever share yours and not worry about anybody else's. It's not anyone's job to impose their truth on you. This is yours. Share it.
I appreciate you being vulnerable with us today, because I think there's someone out there that needed to hear a story like you just told. Because whether it's in a bad relationship, it's maybe religion. I mean, that's so, and just watching you talk about it, it's raw emotion. Like, it just shows you that people are really real. And in a world today, we need to have more of that,
Yes.
So I commend you. I just want to say thank you from me to you. That was powerful. And you're going to help somebody with that. And if that's the platform you're building your business on, you're going to be a great leader. So we're going to shift topics here. We do a rapid fire session. Okay. We're going to hit you with quite a few questions. We want the answer that first comes up, and then we'll wrap this show up. Okay?
Okay.
Guys, if you like what you're hearing here, head over to ryanpennell.com. We have an amazing web class we just shot last week. It's the TR method. If you struggle with having to type scripts and putting scripts out there, this method will teach you how to, with literally 2 codes or 2 keystrokes, make you to be able to populate something within your platform and text within seconds. If it doesn't change your life, let me know. But I guarantee you it will save you time and money. Head over to ryanpennell.com. It is a free 10-minute course. Check it out. All right, you ready for this?
Yes, let's go.
All right, here we go. Have you ever done a podcast before?
No.
Okay. Texting or talking?
As in prefer or
Yes,
best?
prefer.
Okay. Prefer texting.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Favorite day of the week?
Monday.
Nickname your parents used to call you?
What everyone that really knows me well still calls me is Jude.
Okay. What was the last song you downloaded?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Okay. Beer or go ahead. We back up.
I was gonna say which one's the one I'm listening to right now, and I listen to so much music, and I've only listened to music for 10 years of my life, so I'm catching up.
Wow.
I love music. Yes.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Gotcha. Beer or wine?
Beer or wine?
Mm-hmm.
Wine.
Okay. Car or truck?
Truck.
What scares you?
Masks.
Me
I'm
too.
not meaning. No, I'm
Me
not.
too.
I'm not meaning those, but I mean the Halloween ones. I don't know why. It's my only phobia.
Wow. How long does it take you to get ready?
15 minutes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Probably a 8. I mean, I can back a gooseneck and drive a truck, and so that's.
I'll put you at least a 9 or a 10 there. Come on. All right, you ready?
Well, I want to be humble here, so.
Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is.
Oh boy.
I love this question because some people are.
You're talking to somebody who's been highly awakened lately, so don't make me answer that one.
Give me an answer. First thing that comes to mind. Taylor Swift is.
A woman who is on a journey, I'm sure.
At what age do you want to retire?
35.
Invisibility or super strength?
My super strength?
Nope. Would you rather be invisible or have super strength?
Invisible.
Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
Definitely.
Dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
10. Absolutely vault.
First celebrity crush?
Probably The Rock.
Are you politically correct?
Yes. Well, no, absolutely not. I mean, I
Well,
depends if you're.
That's our rapid fire round questions. And let us get to know a little bit about you. And, it's a good way to see people and stuff like that. So, Judy,
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show. Guys, you can follow her at Judy Mark on Facebook. Do you have an Instagram that you follow, or is that kind of like the Wicked Stepchild?
I mean, please follow me. Help me grow this thing because I'm trying to be professional in that thing. Yes, it's the barefoot. Well, it's the underscore barefoot underscore coach, and it's linked to my Facebook. So if you find me on Judy Mark, you'll find my Instagram link to my profile there. So
awesome. Judy, I want to thank you for coming out and doing what we did today. We'll put the podcast out there. It'll be on all the major networks. Guys, if you like what we're talking about, head over to ryanpannell.com or Network Freaking Marketing Radio. I think it's Network Freaking Marketing is that URL. I can't keep up with all of them. Judy, I want to say great and awesome show, and we will see you on the flip side.
thank you so much.
Hey guys, it's Ryan here from Network Freaking Marketing Radio. If you like what we're doing, head over to iTunes and give us a like. Also, don't forget to grab your 5-day master pack at www.networkfreakingmarketing.com.